Munich, May 31st, 2025. A city longing for football history. For PSG, it was the night destiny bowed. This was not just a final. It was PSG's moment to seize Europe's greatest prize for the first time in the club's history, to shatter Qatar's 14-year project to turn PSG into a football powerhouse after acquiring the club in 2011 for around 70 million euros. With a record-setting 5-0 crushing of Italy's Inter Milan, the largest margin in a Champions League final ever, history was written. Just how did PSG get here? Keeping in mind that within the new format of the Champions League, which began during the 24-25 season, PSG ranked just 15th out of the 36 teams after the league phase games, finishing only 2 points above the elimination spots. No one by any means saw this coming, not even them. Stay with me and let's get into it, because what you're about to hear is a fascinating story of grit and rebuild. By the start of the 24-25 season, PSG had redefined their transfer strategy through the minds of Luis Campos and Luis Enrique. Gone were the headline grabbers. Kylian Mbappe had finally left for Real Madrid in July 2024. His goal? To win the trophy he couldn't lift in Paris. Neymar and Messi were gone. PSG were now chasing balance, cohesion, and hunger. PSG continued to offload the deadwood. Manuel Ugarte sold to Manchester United for 50 million euros. Xavi Simons, despite his potential, was sold to Leipzig for a massive 50 million euros. A tough decision, but one that financed Dewey and Pacho. Veterans like Juan Bernat, Randall Colomuani, and Milan Skriniar went out on loan or for free, making way for faster and hungrier players. And in came the builders. Goalkeeper Safonov arrived from Krasnodar in July 2024 for up to 20 million euros. Calm, commanding, and consistent, he brought extra stability between the posts. In early July of 2024, Goncalo Ramos' loan was made permanent for 65 million euros. He wasn't flashy, but he ran tirelessly, pressed relentlessly, and scored crucial goals. Then came the marquee midfield signing of João Neves from Benfica for 60 million euros in August 2024. At just 19, he brought maturity and control, a deep-lying maestro who set the rhythm for every PSG move. Also joining in 2024 in defence, William Pacho arrived from Frankfurt for 45 million euros, aggressive, fast, and technically sound. He forged a formidable partnership with Marquinhos. Desiree Doué, perhaps the season's breakout star, arrived from Rennes for 50 million euros in August of 2024. His energy and flair symbolized the new PSG. Then, in January 2025, PSG struck again. Ivica Kvaratskhelia, Napoli's Georgian wizard, signed for 70 million euros. His dribbling, vision, and fearless drive made him the missing link. A classic winner who thrived in big moments. Campos was reportedly not in favour of signing the Georgian winger. Instead, PSG's head coach Luis Enrique was the driving force behind the acquisition. Enrique had identified Kvaratskhelia as a top target, among others, to strengthen the squad, and his impact in the team was immediate. Just another key indicator of Luis Enrique's commitment to his own vision and beliefs. The result was now a team of workhorses. Every player ran, pressed, and sacrificed. No egos, no walking, just football. With PSG's new team, they did not sail through the beginning of the Champions League season. Instead, unsettling turbulence was experienced. With just one win in their first 5 games, it wasn't looking good, and we all took notice. The turning point in PSG's Champions League campaign seemed to occur during a group stage match against Manchester City. Despite trailing 2-0 at half-time, PSG mounted a remarkable second-half comeback to win it 4-2, with goals from Ousmane Dembele, Bradley Barcola, João Neves, and Goncalo Ramos. This victory revitalized PSG's campaign and set them on a new and ruthless course going forward. Then, in their next crucial game, PSG surged with a 4-1 win over Stuttgart to avoid early elimination. They had made it through the league phase, narrowly. During the league phase, PSG played 8, lost 3, drew 1, and won 4, finishing 15th out of 36 teams, just 2 points above the elimination spots. After avoiding early elimination, PSG advanced to the playoffs. In February 2025, PSG turned a Champions League playoff into a demolition job. Facing Brest over 2 legs, the Parisians delivered one of the most brutal aggregate wins in UEFA Champions League history. It started away from home, where Vitinha's early penalty set the tone. Ousmane Dembele added 2 more, and PSG cruised to a 3-0 first leg away win without breaking a sweat. Back at the Parc des Princes, the floodgates burst. Barcola struck early, Kvaratskhelia followed with a stunner, and then the goals just kept coming. Vitinha, Dewey, Mendes, Ramos, and even young Seni Mayulu got on the score sheet. 7 goals, 7 scorers, a complete humiliation. 10-0 on aggregate, a statement win. PSG didn't just qualify for the round of 16. They announced themselves as ruthless contenders for the crown. PSG vs Liverpool, round of 16 first leg. The stage was set for a PSG onslaught. Under the lights of the Parc des Princes, with the roaring Parisian crowd behind them, Luis Enrique's men looked poised to assert dominance, and for 86 minutes, they did. PSG controlled the game from the first whistle, bossing possession with nearly 70% of the ball and launching 27 shots at goal. Barcola and Kvaratskhelia led the charge, each testing Alisson early, but the Brazilian goalkeeper stood defiant, a wall in gloves. Liverpool offered little in return. Just 2 attempts in the first half, neither close. The visitors sat deep, absorbed pressure, and waited. And just when PSG seemed to be knocking on the door too long, Liverpool kicked it down. In the 87th minute, against the run of play, Harvey Elliott came off the bench and made an instant impact. A slick layup from Darwin Núñez sent him through, and with ice in his veins, Elliott lifted the ball over Donnarumma with his very first touch. It was Liverpool's first shot on target, and it won them the game. The smash and grab was complete. Paris, which had been a fortress all evening, was stunned into silence. Despite controlling every aspect of the match, PSG left with nothing. For PSG, it was a bitter lesson. Possession means nothing without precision, and for Liverpool, it was proof that sometimes one shot is all it takes. The second leg of the round of 16 kicked off on the 11th of March 2025. At Anfield, PSG were the ones to strike first, levelling the tie at 1-0 on aggregate. Liverpool pressed. PSG absorbed the pressure, and when called upon, Donnarumma rose to the moment. Time and again, the Italian giant denied Darwin Núñez, keeping the scoreline frozen and the tie alive. Extra time passed, with nerves fraying and chances drying up. It came down to the cruelest of deciders, penalties, and that's where Donnarumma made the difference. He saved Liverpool's first 2 efforts, from Núñez and Curtis Jones, while PSG were flawless. Vitinha, Ramos, Dembele, Dewey. 4 penalties, 4 conversions. The Liverpool found the net just once through Salah, but it wasn't enough. PSG triumphed, 4-1 in the shootout, silencing Anfield and sending the Parisians through to the quarterfinals. The first leg of the quarterfinal versus Aston Villa kicked off on the 9th of April 2025 at the home of the PSG Giants. PSG came into the quarterfinals riding a wave of confidence, but it was Aston Villa who delivered the early shock. In the 35th minute, Morgan Rogers capitalised on a rare PSG lapse and stunned the Paris Giants, giving Villa a surprise lead. For a brief moment, tension crackled through the stadium, but PSG responded like champions. Just 4 minutes later, Desiree Doué rifled in a stunning equaliser from the edge of the box, a thunderous strike that snapped PSG back to life. After half-time, the Parisians turned it into a showcase. In the 49th minute, Kvaratskhelia lit up the night, slicing through defenders with a solo run that ended with a composed finish. It was a moment of brilliance that tipped the tie. From there, Villa struggled to breathe. PSG controlled 75% of possession, fired off 29 shots, and suffocated any attempt at a response. The final blow came in stoppage time, when Nuno Mendes surged forward and slotted home to make it 3-1. Villa had landed the first punch, but PSG had delivered the rest. The second leg kicked off on the 15th of April 2025. Villa Park was a cauldron of noise, and within 30 minutes, it was silent. PSG, already leading 3-1 from the first leg, struck twice with surgical precision. Hakimi broke the deadlock in the 11th minute with a blistering counter-attack, and by the 27th, Nuno Mendes doubled the lead. Another rapid surge, another ruthless finish. Villa were on the ropes, but the tie was far from over. In the 34th minute, Tielemans' shot deflected off William Pacho and past Donnarumma, giving Villa a lifeline. From there, belief surged through the home side. Just 10 minutes into the second half, John McGinn fired Villa into hope with a thumping strike. 2 minutes later, Konsa rose highest on a corner and buried a header. In the blink of an eye, it was 3-2 to Villa on the night, 5-4 to PSG on aggregate, and everything was in play. What followed was chaos, heart and survival. Villa poured forward, urged on by a raucous crowd, but PSG held their nerve. Donnarumma once again stood between panic and progress, producing 2 massive saves to deny Villa a miracle. PSG's fullbacks, so dangerous going forward, now had to dig deep and defend with desperation. When the final whistle blew, Villa had won the battle, but PSG had won the war. A 3-2 defeat on the night, but a 5-4 aggregate triumph that sent the Parisians into the semi-finals. It wasn't pretty, but it was brave, and in nights like these, that's what matters. The first leg of the semi-final took place on the 29th of April 2025 at the Emirates Stadium, Arsenal Football Club's home ground. The Emirates Stadium is one of Europe's toughest grounds, a cage of noise, passion and relentless pressure, yet Paris Saint-Germain came prepared to overcome it. Just 4 minutes in, Ousmane Dembele struck a low, precise finish that kissed the post before nestling into the net. The goal set the tone. PSG were here to take control. What followed was an intense battle for midfield supremacy. Arsenal pressed hard, creating several dangerous chances. Donnarumma was tested repeatedly, but as usual the PSG goalkeeper was resolute, making crucial saves to keep his team ahead. Despite Arsenal's dominance in possession and expected goals, PSG controlled the game's tempo with their pressing and discipline. Their early strike gave them confidence and shape, frustrating the Gunners and allowing PSG to protect their slender lead until the end. PSG's first ever win at the Emirates, a statement that they are truly contenders on Europe's greatest stage. On the 7th of May 2025, back on home turf, PSG faced early resistance from Arsenal, who were determined to overturn the deficit, but it was PSG who drew first blood, and in spectacular fashion. In the 27th minute, Fabian Ruiz unleashed a thunderous volley that rocketed into the net, a goal that put PSG 2 goals up on aggregate and set the tone for the rest of the evening. As Arsenal tried to regroup, Hakimi delivered a clinical finish off a Dembele assist in the 72nd minute, stretching the lead further. Arsenal pulled one back shortly after through Bukayo Saka, but the momentum had clearly shifted. Defensively, PSG's resilience was epitomised by Donnarumma, whose key saves kept Arsenal at bay. When the final whistle blew, PSG had secured a 2-1 victory on the night and a 3-1 aggregate win, booking their place in the Champions League final. As the Champions League reached its climax, both PSG and Inter Milan entered the final with clear tactical identities and trusted starting lineups. For PSG, Luis Enrique remained faithful to the 4-3-3 system that had brought cohesion and rhythm through the knockout stages. The same 11 that powered them past Arsenal in the semis started again in the final, including breakout star Desiree Doué, whose influence would prove decisive. Inter, led by Simone Inzaghi, stuck with their characteristic 3-5-2 formation, a system built on defensive solidity, wing-back transitions, and a midfield that combined grit and creativity. Their attack relied heavily on Marcus Thuram and Lautaro Martinez, whose threats had propelled them past Barcelona in a thrilling 7-6 aggregate win. Yet the reliance on experience and structure would become a double-edged sword against PSG's youthful energy and fluidity. From the first whistle, PSG asserted their dominance. The midfield trio of Vitinha, Fabian Ruiz and Neves controlled possession expertly, disrupting Inter's rhythm and dictating the tempo of the match. Their pressing forced Inter's back three and wing-backs into difficult positions, confusion, and opening up spaces. Inter's aging defense struggled to keep up with key players like Di Marco and Acerbi exposed repeatedly under the relentless PSG pressure. The breakthrough came swiftly in the 12th minute when Hakimi capitalized on PSG's incisive counter-attack. Vitinha's probing runs drew defenders out of position for a slick interchange and through ball to Doué, who delivered a precise pass to the surging Hakimi. The right back slotted it past goalkeeper Jan Sommer, a move which epitomized PSG's clinical transitional play, and immediately put the French giants ahead. Just 8 minutes later, PSG doubled their lead through the calm composure of Desiree Doué. Exploiting gaps left by Inter's stretched defense, Dembele's run down the left culminated in a lobbed layer for Doué, who smashed the ball with his favoured right foot. It took a deflection off DeMarco and whizzed past Sommer, who was wrong-footed between the posts. At 19 years and 362 days, Doué became the youngest scorer in a Champions League final, symbolizing PSG's new generation rising to glory. The young PSG midfielder's influence only grew as the first half progressed. The alarm bell sounded for the third time when Vitinha got on the ball and started to scutter and probe, the ball under his spell. His mark was close and yet far away. The given goal with Dembele was lovely, his teammate finessing it with a back heel and Vitinha was in business. The pass to Doué was measured to perfection. Doué hit it first time and put it past Sommer for the second time. His goal cemented Doué's place in history as the first player to record 3 contributions in a single Champions League final. Kvaratskhelia added to the score sheet with a stylish goal in the 35th minute. becoming the first Georgian to score in a Champions League final. His pace and precision exposed Inter's defensive frailties, who struggled to contain PSG's flurry of attacks. The goal was a testament to PSG's fluid positional play and relentless pressure, as they overwhelmed the Italian side on all fronts. Inter's response was hampered by their static 3-5-2 formation, which lacked the flexibility needed to counter PSG's dynamic style. Inter never looked like they had a chance at a comeback or getting a grip on the game. They were completely outclassed. The final flourish came in the 86th minute when Academy graduate Seni Mayulu finished off a composed pass from the substitute Bradley Bakola. Mayulu's goal marked him as the second youngest scorer in a Champions League final and highlighted PSG's successful youth development strategy. This emphatic victory was about more than just the goals. The 5-0 scoreline set a new record for the largest margin in a Champions League final, signalling PSG's arrival as European champions. As the final whistle blew, emotions poured out. PSG fans celebrated a long-awaited triumph. They unfurled a tifo shortly after the trophy lift. It was to honor the memory of Luis Enrique's late daughter Zana, who sadly passed of cancer in 2019 at the age of 9. Before this season, it had been 12 consecutive qualifications for the knockout rounds and 12 assaulted sets of heartbreak for PSG, some scarcely believable. The first success in this competition consistently eluded them. After 13 attempts, PSG's mission was complete. A tactical and disciplined masterclass crowned by youthful brilliance that finally brought the coveted Champions League trophy to Paris. With this, PSG also secured a treble win, with Enrique becoming only the second manager ever, after Pep Guardiola, to achieve such a feat. Enrique and Pep's first trebles had both been with Barcelona, and their second treble had both, to the happiness of AC Milan fans, been secured with Champions League final wins over Inter Milan. Enrique sculpted not just a team, but an ideology. He also forged discipline, one red card in the entire Champions League campaign, and unleashed creativity and dominance. 12 different goal scorers, 89% passing accuracy, 60% ball possession, 7 clean sheets, 38 goals scored to 15 conceded, an average team distance of 111 kilometers covered per game. It was a team who came to conquer and did just that. With all that said and done, now comes the club's next challenge. PSG will be aiming to ensure that this successful conquest wasn't a one-off, but rather a foundation. But can they sustain this level? Can they defend their Champions League title and become regular contenders? It will be what PSG fans demand. It remains to be seen, and we will all be there to watch next season. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this deep dive into PSG's 24-25 Champions League season. Please like and subscribe for more content to come, and let me know your thoughts on PSG's historic win in the comments below. Do you think they'll be able to defend it next year, or will it be a one-off success that eludes them for another 14 years?